Have you ever wondered if going to bed early is truly helping your body recharge? Mrs. Johnson, a lively 68-year-old grandmother, always believed in the old saying, "Early to bed, early to rise." But despite heading to bed at 8 p.m. every night, she woke up tired, sluggish, and frustrated. Sound familiar? Many seniors face the same struggle, thinking more hours in bed equals better sleep, only to find themselves tossing, turning, and waking up restless. The truth is, as we age, our body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, changes. What worked in your 30s might no longer suit your 60s or 70s. In today's discussion, we'll explore why quality of sleep matters more than quantity and how hormones like melatonin play a key role in helping you sleep better. Before we dive in, comment your city below, like this video, and subscribe for more tips to improve your health and well-being. Now, let's uncover why going to bed early may not be the best choice for a good night's rest. Why going to bed early may be a mistake. As we age, many of us cling to habits we've trusted for decades, like going to bed early, believing it guarantees better sleep. But here's a surprising truth. Heading to bed too early might actually harm your sleep quality instead of helping it. This may seem counterintuitive, especially for those of us raised with the mantra, "Early to bed, early to rise." However, for seniors, this old wisdom often doesn't align with how our bodies work after 60. Take Mrs. Johnson, for example, from the story we introduced earlier. A 68-year-old grandmother, she dutifully went to bed at 8 p.m., hoping to feel more energized by morning. But instead of waking refreshed, she found herself up at 3 a.m., unable to fall back asleep. The frustration built, and she started to dread bedtime, unsure why her body refused to cooperate. After speaking with her doctor, she discovered something crucial. Her sleep troubles weren't about how long she slept. They were about how well her sleep matched her body's natural rhythms. This is where understanding your circadian rhythm, or internal clock, becomes essential. When you were younger, this rhythm was strong, helping you feel awake during the day and naturally sleepy at night. However, as you age, your circadian rhythm weakens, and your body becomes less responsive to external cues like light and darkness. This shift can cause seniors to feel tired earlier in the evening, but wake up too early in the morning, disrupting sleep quality. Another key factor is melatonin, often referred to as the sleep hormone. Melatonin production decreases naturally as you grow older, especially after 60. When melatonin levels are low, falling asleep and staying asleep become more challenging. This explains why Mrs. Johnson struggled to stay asleep, even though she was in bed for many hours. Her body wasn't ready to sleep deeply because her melatonin hadn't reached its peak when she forced herself to bed. For seniors, going to bed too early can result in light, fragmented sleep, leaving you feeling groggy and frustrated the next day. The key is focusing on quality over quantity, ensuring the hours you do sleep are deep and restorative rather than just trying to spend more time in bed. So, what can you do? First, wait until you genuinely feel sleepy before heading to bed. For many older adults, this might mean pushing bedtime to 9 or even 10 p.m., aligning with the body's natural rhythms. Don't worry if this feels like a big shift from the habits of your younger years. Small adjustments, like enjoying a calming activity in the evening, such as reading or listening to soft music, can make the transition smoother. Mrs. Johnson adopted this advice, delaying her bedtime and swapping her evening routine of staring at the clock for relaxing with her favorite book. Within a few weeks, she noticed a remarkable difference. She slept through the night, woke up refreshed, and found herself enjoying her mornings again. This small but meaningful change can help many seniors regain control over their sleep. In the next section, we'll explore melatonin in more detail and share practical tips to work with your body's changing rhythms for better rest. Understanding the role of melatonin is key to unlocking better sleep as we age. As we touched on earlier, melatonin is a hormone often called the sleep hormone. It's produced by the pineal gland in your brain and plays a critical role in regulating your body's sleep-wake cycle, also known as your circadian rhythm. In simple terms, melatonin signals to your body that it's time to wind down and prepare for rest. In our younger years, melatonin production follows a predictable rhythm. As night falls, levels rise, helping us feel naturally drowsy. However, after the age of 60, melatonin production begins to decline significantly. By the time we reach 70 or older, the body may produce only half as much melatonin as it once did. This natural reduction can disrupt sleep in multiple ways, making it harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, or experience deep restorative rest. Mrs. Johnson, for instance, not only struggled with waking up too early, but also noticed frequent interruptions throughout the night. These disruptions are classic signs of low melatonin levels. Other common indicators include difficulty falling asleep, despite feeling tired or waking up in the morning still feeling unrefreshed. Many seniors mistake these issues as inevitable parts of aging, but they are often tied directly to the body's reduced melatonin production. So, what can you do about it? While you can't reverse the natural aging process, you can make simple adjustments to work with your body's changing needs. One of the easiest and most effective methods is to get regular exposure to natural sunlight, especially in the morning. Sunlight helps regulate your circadian rhythm by signaling your brain to adjust melatonin production for the day ahead. Spending 20 to 30 minutes outside in the early morning light can make a significant difference. Equally important is limiting exposure to blue light in the evening. Devices like smartphones, tablets, and TVs emit blue light, which suppresses melatonin production. By turning off electronics an hour or two before bed and opting for calming activities like reading or listening to soft music, you give your brain the chance to prepare for sleep naturally. These small but impactful changes helped Mrs. Johnson reclaim her nights. With regular morning walks and a new evening routine free from screens, her sleep became deeper and more consistent. In the next section, we'll discuss how adjusting your bedtime can further align your sleep habits with your body's natural rhythms for optimal rest. As we've seen, melatonin plays a vital role in regulating your sleep, but timing is everything. For seniors, aligning bedtime with the body's natural rhythms is just as important as maintaining healthy melatonin levels. Instead of adhering to old habits or strict schedules, adjusting your bedtime to better suit your body's changing needs can significantly improve your sleep quality. Mrs. Johnson, whose struggles we've been following, learned this lesson firsthand. After consulting her doctor, she discovered that a bedtime between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. worked better for her body's natural rhythm. This advice might seem unusual if you're used to winding down earlier, but it's backed by science. For most older adults, melatonin production begins to rise around 8:30 or 9 p.m., meaning your body isn't fully ready for sleep until closer to 9:30 or 10 p.m. By going to bed too early, you risk lying awake in bed, frustrated and out of sync with your internal clock. However, making this adjustment doesn't have to be overwhelming. The key is to shift your bedtime gradually. Start by staying up 15 minutes later than usual for a few nights, and then gradually add another 15 minutes until you reach your target bedtime. This approach allows your body to adjust naturally without causing unnecessary fatigue during the transition. For Mrs. Johnson, this gradual shift worked wonders. Instead of forcing herself into bed at 8 p.m., she started staying up a little later each night. At first, she worried about feeling tired the next day, but she was surprised to find that the quality of her sleep improved, even though the quantity didn't change drastically. Creating a relaxing pre-sleep routine is another powerful way to support your new bedtime. Think of this as giving your body gentle cues that it's time to wind down. For example, Mrs. Johnson swapped her habit of watching evening news, a practice that often left her anxious, for reading a lighthearted book or listening to soothing jazz music. These simple changes made her evenings more enjoyable and allowed her mind to settle before sleep. Avoiding electronic devices before bed is another essential tip. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and TVs can confuse your brain, suppressing melatonin production and making it harder to fall asleep. Instead of scrolling through social media or catching up on emails, consider dimming the lights and engaging in calming activities like journaling, knitting, or even meditating. It's also helpful to create an evening environment that supports relaxation. Keep your living space dimly lit as bedtime approaches, signaling to your brain that it's time to prepare for rest. Aromatherapy, such as using lavender-scented candles or essential oils, can also enhance the calming atmosphere. Mrs. Johnson found that lighting a small lavender candle during her evening reading routine added an extra layer of relaxation, making her new bedtime routine something she genuinely looked forward to. The benefits of aligning your sleep schedule with your body's natural rhythm extend beyond the night. With deeper and more restorative sleep, Mrs. Johnson began noticing improvements in her energy levels, mood, and even her focus throughout the day. She no longer needed long naps or extra cups of coffee to push through her mornings. By listening to your body, making gradual changes to your bedtime, and incorporating relaxing pre-sleep habits, you can improve not only your nights, but also your days. In the next section, we'll explore common mistakes that can undermine your sleep and how to avoid them for lasting rest and rejuvenation. Adjusting your bedtime is an excellent step toward better sleep, but avoiding common mistakes is just as crucial. Many seniors unknowingly fall into habits that disrupt their sleep patterns, creating a cycle of restless nights and groggy mornings. Let's take a closer look at these pitfalls and how you can overcome them. Mrs. Johnson, whose journey we've been following, initially struggled to balance her new bedtime routine. While delaying her bedtime had improved the depth of her sleep, she couldn't shake the feeling of fatigue during the day. After some reflection, she realized two habits might be holding her back: long afternoon naps and spending too much time in bed trying to force herself to sleep. One of the most common mistakes seniors make is taking long or late naps. While a short nap can be refreshing, extended naps or snoozing late in the afternoon can interfere with nighttime sleep. When Mrs. Johnson started napping for over an hour in the early afternoon, she found it harder to feel truly tired by bedtime. Her doctor suggested limiting naps to 20 to 30 minutes and ensuring they happened earlier in the day. This small adjustment helped her feel more awake during the day without disrupting her ability to fall asleep at night. Another widespread mistake is staying in bed too long, either in the morning or when struggling to sleep at night. Many seniors believe that simply spending more time in bed will eventually lead to more rest, but the opposite is often true. Lying awake in bed can create a sense of anxiety or frustration, which makes it even harder to fall asleep. For Mrs. Johnson, this habit turned her bed into a place of stress rather than relaxation. To combat this, she began practicing what her doctor called sleep efficiency. This involved only using her bed for sleep and getting up if she couldn't fall asleep within 20 minutes. Instead of tossing and turning, she would move to a comfortable chair and read a book until she felt sleepy again. By breaking the association between her bed and sleeplessness, Mrs. Johnson found it easier to drift off naturally. During the day, keeping active and engaged also plays a vital role in avoiding these mistakes. Gentle activities like walking, gardening, or spending time with friends can help build up sleep pressure, the natural drive to sleep that builds as you expend energy. Mrs. Johnson started taking a short walk every morning, which not only improved her mood, but also helped her sleep more soundly at night. Recognizing and addressing these common sleep mistakes can make a profound difference. By keeping naps short and purposeful, using your bed only for sleep, and staying active during the day, you can create a healthier relationship with your sleep routine. Mrs. Johnson's story shows that even small adjustments can have a big impact. In the next section, we'll discuss how creating a sleep-friendly environment can further support restful and rejuvenating sleep. As we continue exploring ways to improve sleep quality, let's focus on an essential yet often overlooked factor: your sleep environment. No matter how carefully you adjust your bedtime or daily habits, the space where you sleep plays a significant role in determining whether your rest is truly restorative. For seniors, this becomes even more critical as the body's needs and sensitivities change with age. Mrs. Johnson, now well on her way to a better sleep routine, discovered this lesson the hard way. Even after adjusting her bedtime and cutting back on naps, she still woke up feeling stiff and restless. After speaking with her doctor, she realized that her sleep setup might be the culprit. Her mattress, over 15 years old, sagged in the middle, and her pillow left her neck aching every morning. Making a few targeted changes to her environment made all the difference. One of the first adjustments Mrs. Johnson made was investing in a new mattress and supportive pillows. For older adults, comfort is key to preventing aches and pains that can interrupt sleep. A mattress that provides proper support for your back and joints is vital, and pillows should cradle your neck in a way that feels both supportive and comfortable. Once Mrs. Johnson upgraded her sleep setup, she noticed immediate relief and began waking up with less discomfort. Another critical aspect of a sleep-friendly environment is temperature. Seniors are often more sensitive to temperature changes, and a room that's too hot or too cold can easily disrupt sleep. Experts recommend keeping your bedroom around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius, for optimal comfort. Mrs. Johnson added a lightweight blanket and a small fan to her room, allowing her to easily adjust the temperature during the night. These small changes helped her stay comfortable and asleep longer. Lighting also plays a significant role in promoting quality sleep. Bright or harsh lighting, especially from electronic devices, can suppress melatonin production and trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Mrs. Johnson used to scroll through her tablet before bed, but after learning about the impact of blue light, she switched to reading a physical book instead. She also added blackout curtains to block out any street lights or early morning sun, creating a darker, more calming atmosphere in her bedroom. Lastly, the overall ambiance of your bedroom can have a profound effect on how easily you fall asleep and stay asleep. Mrs. Johnson took the time to declutter her space, removing anything that made her room feel chaotic or busy. She added a lavender-scented diffuser, which not only smelled wonderful, but also helped her relax as she prepared for bed. Creating a sleep-friendly environment doesn't require drastic changes. Small, thoughtful adjustments can make your bedroom a sanctuary for rest and relaxation. As Mrs. Johnson discovered, combining these changes with her improved bedtime routine helped her sleep more deeply and wake up feeling truly refreshed. In the final section, we'll look at how to handle nighttime awakenings calmly and effectively, ensuring you get the most out of your night's rest. Waking up in the middle of the night can feel frustrating, especially when you're lying there, hoping for sleep to return. However, it's important to remember that nighttime awakenings are entirely normal, especially as we age. Rather than panicking or stressing, adopting a calm and patient approach can make it much easier to drift back to sleep. Mrs. Johnson, now enjoying better sleep overall, still found herself waking up once or twice during the night. Initially, these awakenings filled her with anxiety. She would lie in bed, checking the clock every few minutes and worrying about how tired she'd feel the next day. Her doctor reassured her that brief nighttime awakenings are a natural part of the sleep cycle and offered some practical tips to handle them. The first step is to let go of any frustration. Stressing about being awake can activate your body's fight-or-flight response, making it harder to relax. Instead, remind yourself that waking up doesn't mean your sleep is ruined. This shift in mindset helped Mrs. Johnson feel less tense during those moments, allowing her to focus on getting back to sleep naturally. If you find yourself unable to fall asleep after about 15 to 20 minutes, it's better to get out of bed than to stay there tossing and turning. Moving to a comfortable chair and engaging in a calming activity, like reading a light book or listening to soft music, can help ease your mind and body. Mrs. Johnson started keeping a small lamp and her favorite poetry book nearby for just such occasions. These quiet moments helped her relax without stimulating her mind too much. Deep breathing exercises can also be incredibly effective. Slowly inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for another 4 counts, and exhale for 6. This technique not only calms your mind, but also signals to your body that it's time to relax. Another strategy is sipping on a warm, non-caffeinated drink like herbal tea or water with a touch of honey, which can soothe both your nerves and your body. One thing to avoid during nighttime awakenings is checking the clock. Constantly looking at the time can create unnecessary pressure, making it harder to relax. Instead, trust that sleep will come when your body is ready. By staying calm, focusing on relaxation, and avoiding self-criticism, Mrs. Johnson found that her nighttime awakenings no longer felt like setbacks. She saw them as a natural part of her sleep journey, knowing that her body would guide her back to rest when the time was right. These small but thoughtful adjustments helped her wake up feeling refreshed and at peace. With these tools in hand, you too can handle nighttime awakenings more effectively and make the most of your nights. Here's to restful sleep and brighter mornings ahead. Improving your sleep isn't about the number of hours you spend in bed. It's about the quality of those hours. Small changes like adjusting your bedtime, creating a calming sleep environment, and staying relaxed during nighttime awakenings can make a world of difference for seniors seeking restful, rejuvenating sleep. Now it's your turn. What's one change you'll make to improve your sleep? Share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more practical tips to boost your health and well-being. Sweet dreams.